It's day one, it's the final event, it's the flagpole hoist.
But first, let's remind ourselves what happened in the caveman press.
The athletes have to go head-to-head in the last event of the day. It's the flag hoist, and the athletes have to race these 5 flag poles for the fastest time.
Well, the flagpoles not only get heavier, they get heavier by virtue of the fact that they're longer. Therefore, the turning moment gets very much greater, and the further they go along the line, the more difficult it gets. And it's against the clock. So Mark Lawson versus Jay Hughes. Hughes in second place. The first flag pretty easy, but then the technique is going to be very, very different as they approach the longer poles.
Exactly, Stuart, and also it's a grip factor. There's a lot of forearms and bicep in this one, so it's going to be interesting. As you say, as it gets longer, it gets heavier, and there's more strain on those smaller muscle groups.
Well, Jay Hughes, looking across, had a little bit of difficulty with that last one, didn't he?
Yes, he did, Stuart, and Mark Lawson also having a problem there, and getting towards the final pole. So is he going to do it? Yes, he's there. Well done.
Now there's one more pole to go, though, for Jay Hughes.
Okay, it's interesting that he's using his body weight now, and obviously leg movements.
Now look at this, Jay Hughes on the left. Now then, this is the longest and heaviest. Now, can he do it? Can he get it upright? It looks as though it might. Oh, that is a tough one. No, 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 no.
There's a lot of strain on those arms, Stuart.
Well, neither Mark Lawson finding this very difficult. Neither of them. No, no, he says no, 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 no. So it's 49.07 for Mark Lawson, 45.06 for Jay Hughes.
But Hughes is not finished yet, Stuart.
Well, no, he's got the time limit of 90 seconds, so, but I honestly don't think he's going to. No, he's not.
I love my pole.
Have a little look at this. You get further and further away from the end of the pole, and that's what makes it difficult. It's that turning moment. It gets so heavy as you get towards the longest poles of all, the 5th and final. Well, Lewis McLean, 5th position overall, up against Richard Smith here. And once again, the task, the 5 poles. And as usual, the first pole going up quite comfortably. And as they get longer, they are pulling where Richard Smith is pulling really right near the tape, which is the limit.
Yeah, that's technically right, Stuart. As long as you can just leave it up from that silver mark and then just move your legs backward, as we can see him doing, that is the right technique for this this event.
Well, there are...
And there he goes, walking back.
They're trying desperately. They've got... look at that little glance across. How's he doing and how am I doing? We've got the 90-second limit, and Richard Smith really struggling. They are struggling with this, and I'm not surprised. That is tough. He's more worried about what's happening with Richard Smith, isn't it, Lewis?
That's right. He should be moving his hands up towards the silver mark.
Well,
and he's got it there. Well
yeah, he has. They've both got 3 poles up now, and the 4th one, well, I think it's going to be pretty tough.
Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? He's hanging on there, Stuart. No, it's going back.
Well, Richard Smith, much quicker actually than Lewis McLean. 22.41 at 57.06, Lewis. You saw him struggling. And another look at this. It was the 3rd one that Lewis McLean had problems with that took him up to 57.06. Richard Smith was much quicker. 13.28 the 2nd, 22.41 the 3rd, so his time very much quicker.
As you can see, Lewis there just lost his grip on that last pole.
Well, Mark Westerby, this might well suit him actually, and he's up against Glenn Ross. So the 2 big fellas up against each other here.
Yeah, I think Glenn's got a little bit of weight advantage, but Mark is a taller athlete. As you can see, Glenn's not actually moving from the silver mark, so he's got to do that pole again, Stuart.
Yep, and look how the way he sits back and uses, as you said, his body weight against. So does Westerby as well. Look, just they're falling backwards and then driving with the legs backwards. Yeah, so it's a really good technique. Solid. They've thought about it. 3 up. Look at that. 4 up to Westerby. He's going really well.
Yeah, it's always a good opportunity, Stu, to be the last in the heats and watch the other guys and try and work out the technique of what works and what doesn't.
Westerby, I'll tell you, this guy is strong, isn't he? They're all 5 up there for Westerby. 48.31. Now that is a terrific time, and Glenn Ross struggling.
Yeah, the daddy's given up.
Well, he certainly has. Only 3 poles up, according to me, and 29.56 the time there. But my goodness, Westerby, what an exhibition. Another look again. I'm not sure it didn't fall, you know that. It's very difficult to know whether it was above the tape or whether it just didn't stay upright. He didn't settle it down into its plant position properly, but Westerby did. Well, there it is, Westerby, 48.31. Jay Hughes in second, Mark Lawson, Richard Smith, Glenn Ross. Down in 5th, Lee Allen and Lewis McLean, the Scottish champion, in 7th. Well, let's just have a look at the overall situation. Glenn Ross, Jay Hughes and Mark Westerby at the top of the tree. Lee Allen goes home because it's only the top 6 that go through. James Fenley is out of the competition, so it's Lewis McLean that goes through to day 2. There's the overall kilogram lifted by Mark Westerby, 5,730, just ahead of Glenn Ross and Richard Smith. Well, James Fenley out of the competition. It happened here, breaking the side light and getting a very bad cut. Let's hear what he had to say about it.
I was the last out in the push event, so like minibus was first, you know. I had my hands on the minibus ready to go, and Sven counted me down 3, 2, 1, and I went straight in without thinking, straight onto the headlight. Like I knew myself before I done the event. Like I told myself, don't go too low or you will hit the headlight. But of course, in the heat of the moment, when Sven, the referee, said 3, 2, 1, I went straight in, and the shoulder went straight through the headlight. So, and I stayed pushing, which I shouldn't have really done. But when you're a strong man, you don't think, you know, you just in with the instinct, and on I went. But I stayed pushing with the shoulder in the headlight. So obviously that didn't help. But I knew straight away when I came off the minibus to run to the dump truck that I looked down and I saw blood, and I knew I was in a bit of trouble. I didn't think it was as bad as it was, you know. But I stayed going, and I ended up pushing the dump truck, and then ran down to the lorry, and I ended up winning with the fastest time to be put out with an injury. It's an absolute. I'm gutted, like, you know, but what can you do? These things happen in all sports, so I'll just have to get on with it, you know. I'll come back stronger hopefully next year.
The end of an awesome day, and no surprises to see the daddy storming into an early lead.
Of course not. The daddy owns this competition, but it was fantastic to see Jay Hughes coming so close behind.
It was indeed. Join us again for the UK's strongest man.